When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, what's going on, Boise State fans? Happy Monday to you. Another week has arrived here at Bronco Nation News Live, here at BroncoNationNews.com. It's Monday. That means John Mallory is here, 95.3 The Ticket. Johnny, we had a fun time hosting last Friday on Idaho Sports Talk. We're now here for your weekly hit here on Bronco Nation News. Hopefully the weekend treated you well, man. What's up?
It was a good weekend. Relaxing, watched a lot of preseason football, and ready to go on a Monday. Our show's heating up. I know BNN is heating up. It just gets bigger every single day from now on, right, BJ? Every day you learn a little more, you get a little more excited, you get a little closer to football season starting. So I was ready to go this morning. Can't wait to talk some ball.
Yeah, only 2 weeks until we get to game week. So you have this week and next week, and then it's game week. 3 weeks from 2 days ago on Saturday is the first game. So we're, 19 days from kickoff now? I mean, it's getting closer and closer, and really excited of football season. On the show today, we're going to hear from Andy Avalos. We got some clips from his scrimmage, press conference after the scrimmage on Saturday. We'll talk about that. Johnny will help me react, but we do have a big announcement, Johnny, that I wanted to get to right off the top of the show. We got a lot of folks watching. I've been searching long and hard. Wednesdays is the one day I don't have a co-host, Johnny. I got you on Monday, Prater on Thursdays, Jay Tust on Tuesdays and Fridays, but Wednesday is the one day where I don't have a permanent co-host. Now, during basketball season, we had the Matt Boucher show. So I thought, what could we do during football season to bring in somebody that is very knowledgeable on this football team, knows the community, the fan base knows them, what would be a good fit. And I am very pumped to announce that starting this Wednesday at 9 a.m., former Boise State linebacker and assistant coach Winston Venable will be hosting the Winston Venable Show here on Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. Every Wednesday at 9 a.m., Winston Venable will be on to talk Boise State football. He'll go inside the locker room. I mean, this guy just coached last year, was the running backs coach, obviously a former standout linebacker, but I'm so excited to bring on Winston Venable as a member of Bronco Nation News. It shows that we're continuing to grow, and it's the subscriptions, it's the sponsors, it's everybody helping making stuff like this happen. So Winston Venable, Johnny, former player, you know him. He's got great insight. Coach George Chilani and these guys just last year. I mean, the last game Boise State played, Winston Venable was one of their coaches. So I think his insight's going to be awesome, and we're pumped to have him on board here at Bronco Nation News.
Yeah, that's a good get, BJ. He knows this program, and what I like most about Coach Venable, Winston Venable, is a lot of people know football really well, but they're not the best at describing what they see to either the media or an audience. And that's not the case with Winston Venable. He is an expert in language and what he sees. He's always done for me in covering him last year and talking about this team with him last year. He always, I felt, did a really good job, BJ, of being able to describe exactly what's happening and dummy it down, if you will, for fans or media members to really understand what's going on inside this program. So I'm sure Wednesdays, that's going to be a lot of fun for you. It's going to be a lot of fun for the former NFL, Canadian Football Leaguer, Boise State star, and coach Winston Venable. But it's going to be really good for the fans because I think they're going to get a little more inside access. That's why they pay BNN all this money every month. Man, they need some access here, BJ. All kidding aside, and you're giving it to them. So welcome to the BNN family, Winston Venable. Cool.
Yep, looking forward to having him on Wednesday. He came on one day, Johnny, a day or two before the NFL draft in April, and got great reviews on the insight that he provided, breaking down the players and things like that. He has obviously the pedigree and the experience as a Boise State player, two-time all-WAC selection, had that interception in the final minute of the Fiesta Bowl win over TCU. Obviously went on and played professionally in the CFL, did some things there, and then the last 4 years has been on staff, including the last 2 as running backs coach. So I've heard great reviews, and Johnny, this is not one of those things where he's just a name and he's doing this. I've met with him a couple times. He's very into this. He's very excited for this. We've been working on the graphics and things and show format and all that for a while. He bought into this. He's very excited. And so that'll be every Wednesday at 9 a.m. moving forward. Boise State football talk for 30 minutes with Winston Venable every week. And it's his show. I'm just going to kind of help pilot it along. And as you said, Johnny, appreciate all the subscribers, all the sponsors for helping make this happen. And someone asked if he asked for ball game money before signing on. So
I'm not at liberty to discuss
should Winston Venable be I don't know. Should Winston Venable be making more than Johnny Mallory for a weekly hit?
I've been with the company since this began. I'd like a little seniority there, BJ, all kidding aside. Hell yes, he should. He's going to give you a lot of knowledge inside that program because, like you said, he was just there last year and he was with a majority of these coaches last year. That's a good get for you guys. That's this Wednesday, 2 days from now?
Yeah, it starts 2 days from now. This Wednesday. It'll go every Wednesday through football season. So every Wednesday through football season at 9 a.m., Winston Venable, now part of the Bronco Nation News family. A lot of comments coming in. Appreciate everybody. Can't wait to hear Winston's insights. Winston for the win. Kurt Blake says he called it. Jordan says we should be paying Johnny Winston money. So there you go.
Thanks, Jay.
That sounds good. But so looking forward to that. That'll be Wednesday, 9 a.m. every Wednesday moving forward here at Bronco Nation News, the BroncoNationNews.com social media channels. Welcome to the family, Winston Venable. And that's not the only big announcement. We got another one coming in the next week or so as well, Johnny, about another addition to the Bronco Nation News family. So we are off and rolling here. It's going to be an exciting football season this fall. And happy to have KTIK on board. Happy to have you on board, Johnny. I think it's going to be a really fun season. We have yet to have a football season. We've yet to have a single football game since I started Bronco Nation News. It started a couple days after the loss to San Diego State last year, dropped them to 7-5. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And Johnny, we were both out there on Saturday. Andy Avalos met with the media after the scrimmage. We were not allowed to watch the scrimmage, but what was your general takeaway from our 16-minute conversation with the head football coach, Andy Avalos?
We've had Coach Avalos now for a year, a little more, BJ, like a year and a half, I guess. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I haven't studied body language, but I've watched sports and covered sports for a long time. And I think sports is as great an indication of good, fair, poor, outstanding body language as any other type of platform. Let me just say this. Andy Avalos' press conference on Saturday, we didn't get to see it. It felt to me, his persona, his personality, his body language, it felt like he liked what he saw on Saturday from both sides of the ball, every which way, his coaches. It felt to me when he came in to the Blameyer to give that presser that he was ready to go. And I don't think he didn't really dodge any questions. Sometimes, coaches, they just won't be in the best of moods when they're coming off a scrimmage that they didn't like, right? If he was ticked off about a number of stuff, a lot of times they bring that body language into the press conference room. Coach Avalos did anything but that. I thought he was fired up to talk to us, to talk about the scrimmage, and that was my ultimate takeaway, Raines, is that it seemed like if you read his body language, he liked what he saw, and I thought that was a big deal.
Here's the opening statement. Andy Avalos talking about the scrimmage after Saturday on Saturday.
It was good. Today went back and forth. The offense got off to a pretty fast start today. Went on a 10-play drive. It was awesome to see them operate and push different tempos up and down the field. Different players executing the ball, getting to different players, running the ball, throwing the ball. So they had a really good plan coming out today. It was good to see, really the blue and the orange offense, the ones and the twos coming out the way they did. It was great to see how the defense responded. They came back, they locked it in, and that's what I mean by it went both ways. Both sides of the ball did some really good things today, which is obviously we've got to get in the film room as coaches, and then hop in with the players and identify what are the things we're doing well, how can we continue to do those even better, what are the things that we aren't doing well that we want to continue to do, and analyze how are we going to teach and improve those things, starting in the meeting rooms, obviously taking it to our individual sessions, group sessions, and so on before we get to team. But overall, throughout through the first scrimmage here, the urgency the players are operating with is awesome. The leadership groups, the vibe they're bringing every day, the standard they're holding the whole team to has been awesome. And that's going to allow us to compete a certain way every day at practice. The competition at the line of scrimmage has been extremely physical. Iron sharpens iron. We got to continue to build on our fundamentals and techniques. We're playing with a great mentality up front. We ran the ball, pretty well today. There were a couple players that were up in the, 4.5, 5 yards average today, so it was good to see. It's good to see some of the backs step up and get some really good work, outside of George, and see Ashton, see T. Crow, see Elion do his deal and get in there. To see Caden get in there and carry the rock. All those guys had some great runs today, so that was obviously exciting to see. There were 5 players on offense that at least had 2 catches, so the quarterback spreading the ball around and doing a good job staying on time with that operation. But this is the biggest point right here where we wrap up scrimmage number 1. The evaluation time is huge. We've got to be able to self-scout ourselves and see how, number 1, where, then how are we going to make a huge jump in week number 2. This is where a ton of growth takes place. Players understand the basics, the younger guys. The older guys, they understand at a very high level. But there is always improvement to be made, and in this second week here, as we move into scrimmage number 2, we have to make a huge jump.
A lot of things there, Johnny, to unpack, a lot of different positions he talked about. We got some other clips as well. But was there any, we talked about this on your show, Johnny, on Idaho Sports Talk on Friday, and we said, what do we want to hear Andy Avalos say on Saturday? What do we want to see in the scrimmage? And I said I wanted to see the offense do something in this scrimmage because defensively, usually the defense is ahead at the beginning of camp. The first scrimmage is usually won by the defense. And last year, the offense never caught up, and it was a struggle all season for the offense. I wanted to see him say the offense played well, and he came out and said the first drive of the scrimmage, they went 10 plays, 75 yards, and scored a touchdown. Jordan K, don't ask him how they scored the touchdown, but they did score a touchdown, 75 yards, 10 plays. But just that was a good sign for me. The offense came out, did some good things. He did say the defense then rebounded. So of course some fans I saw on social media, well, there you go. The offense couldn't make adjustments later in the game. Where have we seen that before? But no, we didn't see the scrimmage. We just heard from Andy Avalos. And again, we have some more clips to play. But for me, one of the big takeaways was him saying the offense came out and played pretty well.
Yeah, that was the biggest takeaway for me. That was the first thing I think most of us in the media tweeted after that press conference, right? The offense took the ball with Hank Bachmeier, the ones, and they went 10 plays for 75 yards and had 6 points rather than 3 at the conclusion of the drive. That is exactly what not only Andy Avalos, not only Tim Plow, but Hank Bachmeier, I think those 3 are kind of attached to the hips, if you will, with this offense. Andy, Plow, and Hank, they need to make this thing go, and they need to get better. For them to do that on this defense, and we've heard a lot about this defense, the defense kind of rules the roost with this particular Boise State team. That's been the case in years past. That hasn't been the case in years past. But that, for me, this is more of a defensive team right now than a team that's going to go out there, put up 50 points, and blow you out. So for the offense to be able to say, hey, guys, we can play here too. This isn't just going to be about the defense this year. We're coming at you early and often. I thought that spoke well. And again, I think that adds to kind of Andy Avalos' enthusiasm level. I think that was good for him to be able to see and then come back and kind of relay that message. The funny thing is, though, and we'll probably get to this, everybody's like, 10 plays, 75 yards, and a teeter? Well, who scored? How did it happen? What was the touchdown like? Coach Avalos would not comment on how the touchdown took place. He said something along the lines in the presser, BJ, like, that's for the people that were on the blue. He didn't say anything about how someone scored, or I don't know if he said if anybody scored. Did he say anybody?
Well, if it was a 10 play, yeah, he did. He did. He had the famous quote. We'll play in a second. You know how it ended. He took a big swing.
No, but who scored it?
Touchdown. Didn't tell us who scored. Nope.
That's what I meant. Yeah, we don't know which player. Do you know any player that scored in the scrimmage?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, he didn't say. He kept it. My guess was the final score, the 10th play of that drive, they ran statue left, bro, man, and they scored on a Statue of Liberty play, and the whole offense probably went crazy in the end zone. And all kidding aside, that would have been awesome if that happened, but yeah, just a hunch.
We'll hear about that 10-play drive in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. COI, over 500,000 members love Idaho Central Credit Union. Idaho Central Credit Union has been helping members achieve financial success for over 80 years. You can join 1 in 4 Idahoans. Become a member today at ICCU.com. We appreciate transportation compliance service as well. If you're looking to become an Amazon driver, any kind of truck driving, whether it's the big rig, some of the smaller versions, they can help you get those permits and get out there towing that first load in no time. Transcomservice.com, all the permits, all the licenses, all the things you need. Let them take care of it for you. Transcomservice.com. Boise Dentistry Co. My kids were just there on Friday. We just saw Dr. Meinert pull the tooth. Took one of Naismith's front teeth out that was wiggly. So check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com. Locations across the Treasure Valley. Full family dentistry and wellness. We appreciate Boise Dentistry Co. And, of course, United Commercial Insurance. They make it easy for you. Business insurance, whether it's liability or workers' comp or any of the business policies, they can write them in 44 states around the country. So they're a local Treasure Valley business. They support the local economy, communities, sports teams. But if you're anywhere in the United States, they can pretty much help you out. Give him a call, 229-8222. Ask for Brandon, and he'll take care of you. A quick call could save you hundreds of dollars on your business insurance. That 10-play drive, Johnny, Jordan Kay of the Idaho Press asked Andy Avalos how that drive ended. Here you go.
Drive ended, 10 plays, 75 yards.
Oh, you know how it ended. It was a touchdown.
Okay, but like, who caught it? How did it happen?
Well, I would just say this. That drive was a mixture of great execution in the pass game and some really, really good runs right out of the gate. The details of how it happened and all that, that's for the people that were on the field. But to be able to come out against the defense and start fast like that right out of the gates is a huge plus for our offense. It's a huge plus for the whole group collectively. Coach Plow did a nice job putting the plan together, and obviously the players came out and attacked and kept their foot on the pedal throughout that drive. Now, how consistently can we do that?
There you go, Johnny. 10 plays, 75 yards, but Andy Avalos wanted no part of how they scored.
No box score, no details, man. I mean, for my fantasy lineup on the Boise State scrimmage, I want to know if I won or not. We'll never know.
We won't. You know what? He mentioned some wide receivers in that opening scrimmage. We asked about that. Let's hear about the wide receivers from Boise State. I think that's a position, running back depth, obviously behind George Helani, who, reading between the lines, Johnny, it sounds like George Helani may not have even played in that scrimmage. And if he did,
I don't think he did.
And if he did, it was a carry here or there, but it sounds like he may not have played. So they went 10 plays, 75 yards. And by the way, that was against Boise State's #1 defense. It was one-on-one there on that opening drive. And without George Helani, they went 10 plays, 75 yards. And part of that was because of Boise State's wide receivers. Here's Andy Avalos' thoughts on them.
The ball was getting spread around today. It was awesome to see. Steph did a really good job today. Had some big-time catches. Billy Bowens. Bolt made some plays today as well. The ball was really getting spread around. From the standpoint too, we had some tight ends making some big time grabs. Ty Neal showed up today in some critical situations on some third downs. And so Riley Smith is it's exciting to see him working his way back in, and not only working in, but he had an unbelievable catch the other day at practice, a big one-handed grab, where he high pointed the ball. So the ball is getting spread around. A few backs caught the ball out of the backfield as well today.
Well, there you go, Johnny. The wide receivers, we're all talking, who's it going to be, stepping up to replace Khalil Shakir, Steph Cobbs, I think we all think, pretty highly of, but to hear Billy Bowens, to hear Austin Bolt, we're hearing some names that some guys that are stepping up at receiver.
Those were the first 3 names he mentioned. I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to that. Those were just the first 3 that popped into Coach Avalos' head, or those were the three that stood out the most to coach. And, Static Cobbs, Billy Bowens, that's a name my partner Prater is really high on Billy Bowens going into this year. He thinks he's going to have a tremendous breakout season. I'm not sure about Austin Bolt. I want to see him. I know he's the fastest. Everybody told us a million times about this speed and athleticism. I'd like to see what that's going to look like on the blue this season too. And then you just have the other reliables, Davis Cutter. He mentioned Riley Smith, Tennille Hopper. I mean, those are veteran players now. And there seems like Tim Plow and Hank Bachmeier at their disposal. They have a lot of guys they can look for. They don't have to just make sure that Khalil Shakir is the number one option on the progression of every main passing play. Tim Plow's talked about that. Andy Avalos talked a little bit about that at the scrimmage too, at the presser. This year, I think maybe that's going to open up things a little more. Not to say that they won't miss Shaq. I think Andy on 2 different occasions said, oh yeah, we'd love to still have Shaq be a part of this, but it's just going to feel and look different this year for Hank. And hopefully that's better. Hopefully that's one piece of weight maybe is lifted off his shoulders, if you will, to know that maybe he doesn't have to focus on one guy, even though that guy was one of the best receivers that's ever played here. Maybe it just opens a couple things up. That, to me, is kind of what the coaches are getting at as far as, hey, this is a group of pass catchers this year and playmakers, and they're all going to get kind of an even slice of the pie, if you will, BJ. So definitely something to look forward to see what happens moving forward with those receiving playmakers.
Let's talk about the quarterbacks a little bit. That Andy Avalos kind of joked when the question was asked that it took 12 minutes or something for somebody to ask about quarterbacks, because obviously there's no quarterback battle at number 1 with Hank Bachmeier, so there's some other questions asked first. But that number 2 quarterback battle between Talon and Sam Vidlak is going to be very interesting to watch. Here's Andy Avalos on how the quarterbacks did in Saturday's scrimmage.
They all did some good things. They all did some good things. The nature of the beast, again, they spreaded the ball around. The most important thing that they did today is they stayed on time and they got that ball out, because the defense has been bringing good pressure, whether it's, 4, whatever it is, 5, 3, whatever that is. The defense has been getting great pressure. And so being able to operate and stay on time through the progressions, as we spoke about, trusting and knowing that there's guys all over the field that, are playmakers, and getting the ball in their hands so that they can do something with it. But Hank did a nice job today. Again, the first drive came out, went right down the field, 10 plays, 75 yards. So that's an unbelievable way to start, obviously, against the defense. And we just got to keep building off of that. How do we repeat that over and over? What can we learn from even on that drive? What can we do better? The drives after that were, maybe a drive stalled out. How can Hank see a situation? How can he operate better the next time he is in that situation? The TG ran around today, did some things, throwing the ball. Sam and TG split the 2 reps today, and they're both right there. I mean, they're both doing really good things, but this next week we got to make a huge jump with those guys and their consistency of their decision making, obviously late in the snap.
Do you decipher anything on the battle for number 2 with what we've heard from either Andy on Saturday or any of the players or coaches to this point, Johnny?
Nah, I think it's still up in the air, right? I think that's going to be one of those position battles that might take longer than others to resolve. I remember, we talked with Coach Avalos on Saturday too about position battles and this quarterback QB2. I mean, typically, coaches want to end the battle as quickly as they can so they can start giving those number 1 reps more often to the guys they know are going to be with the first team come Corvallis here in a few weeks, right? Maybe this is one of those battles that just lasts a little bit longer, or maybe it's one of those things, and I know you're probably not going to like this, maybe when they come out with that depth chart, it says Hank Bachmeier 1, and then it'll say Talon Green or Sam Vidlak as number 2. Maybe
wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't shock me either. He doesn't make a decision on it. He doesn't want to start anything. He doesn't want to irritate anybody.
He'll make a decision. He just doesn't want to tell us it is.
He'll just say, there's no reason to announce who QB2 is, so we're not going to announce who QB2 is. If we're fortunate enough, you'll never know who QB2 is because Hank will be playing the entire season. But maybe he goes in that direction too, because I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Taylon Green is QB3 here, right?
Yep.
And that's a story.
I
BJ.
still think if he's QB3, but maybe he's still the one that comes in with some packages. He's just not ready in a big situation. I mean, that would be odd if he's QB3, but he's playing over Vidlac on a 3rd and 1 or something. We'll see.
I want to know how valuable Vidlac's going to be game week, because Oregon State hasn't changed anything as far as coaching. He was in that building last year. I want to know what type of tool he's going to be for Spencer Danielson.
He could run that scout team pretty good if he was a scout team.
Absolutely. I think he's going to be a valuable piece, knowing he knows that program inside and out. We'll see what Boise State does to try to get some of that knowledge out of him. I'm sure they will.
Hey, Ridley's Family Market, shopridleys.com, 13 Idaho locations. Check them out at home shopping, the Skip app, home delivery, all that great stuff. Find a location near you, shopridleys.com. The Blue and Orange Store, check them out online, theblueandorangestore.com. Free shipping for any order over $40. It's the perfect time to get that coach's sideline apparel, the new Nike gear, the retro logo. If you're in Boise, just check them out at the Boise Town Square Mall on the 2nd floor there right next to Pro Image. And again, if you're not in the area, you can get all your new Boise State gear. Get ready for the season, the Blue and Orange Store.com. Bauscher Real Estate, the #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. We appreciate Matt Bauscher, his support of Bronco Nation News. No home is too big or too small. Check him out online at Bauscher Real Estate. Timberstone Golf Course. I might be playing out there tomorrow, Johnny, or Wednesday, Johnny. No practice on Wednesday.
I'm surprised you're not there every day this week.
I got my family in town for a few more days, so maybe make it out on Wednesday. It's not like I just do nothing to play golf every day. Check them out. Play Timberstone. It's a great course. You can book your tee time online at timberstone.com. And I purchased a new vehicle over the weekend from Lithia Ford. It was a great process, easy, quick. Love my new truck. So check them out, lithiafordboise.com. Kim, the salesperson, Kim, did an outstanding job. Appreciate her. Got the kids snacks and just had, while we were buying it was great process. So thank you to Kim. Thank you to Jim Sturk, everybody at Lithia Ford of Boise for making the process easy. No, they did not give me a free truck. I paid full price like everybody else, but the service was great and we appreciate them. You can get more information, find all their online inventory at lithiafordboise.com. Let's hear quickly from the defense. We've talked offense for this whole time, Johnny. Here's Andy Avalos talking about the defense, and then we'll wrap up the show and kind of get your thoughts right after that.
Question. I mean, DJ, has been extremely consistent at linebacker. Not only, getting guys lined up, handling coverages and adjustments and all that, but he's been extremely consistent with his play. Rodney, he's shown up. At his safety position, he caused a fumble today, filled the alley on a run play, and put his pad on the ball, and the ball popped out, and JL recovered it. And so Rodney's got plenty of room to continue to grow, but that's all we're asking is each and every day is we just get a little bit better. We talked about Markel. Markel is from practice #1 to where we're at now. Markel has made tremendous improvement, and like we talked about, it's just really him getting back in his rhythm and knocking some of that rust off because he's a tremendous player and an unbelievable person. We've up front, we've got a ton of guys that are improving on the defensive line. George Tarlas, from what he looked like in the springtime to where he's at right now, not only in the run game, but he's been an extremely effective pass rusher. He's leading the squad in sacks right now in fall camp. We talked about Dimitri. Herb Gums, he looks like a totally different player than he was last year. Obviously, he was working off something last year, and he's got better at the end of the year and has only done nothing but continue to build. Jackson Craven's at that position too. Getting back into the fold of things for himself. He's done a nice job. So it is obviously, it always starts up front. So building the depth, #1, so we can practice a certain way and get the amount of reps that everybody on the team needs in both fronts. That's a huge deal because there's nothing like playing 11-on-11 football. And whether that's building a mentality, whether that's learning situations and executing situations, whether it's down and distance or within the field zones, clock situations, there's nothing like playing 11-on-11 football. And so really, on both sides of the ball, building that depth in the front so we can do that.
Got about 20 seconds, Johnny. Your thoughts on the defense?
I think the defense is going to be outstanding this season. The depth, they're moving guys around like, Isaiah Banya, we don't need you to rush the passer maybe as much as we thought. Let's see if we can use you at the will linebacker. The battles in the secondary. This defense is going to fly around. They're going to go to the ball. I like them at pretty much at every single level, BJ. And I don't know what the ceiling is for this defense. I would say right now, be the best defense in the Mountain West. I think they're going to be right there in the conversation. And I think it's going to be a fun year for Bronco Nation because that defense, BJ, they're loaded.
Well, speaking of defense, Winston Venables debuts Wednesday at 9 a.m. Johnny, appreciate you. KTIK, appreciate JP. We'll talk to everybody later. Bronco Nation News, bronconationnews.com.